Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dreaming Sims, but you can call me Dream for short. And today we have a special guest with us today. No, like he's right there on the screen. Because the audience was so shocked to see this man's, let's give a round of applause for Enrique. So this video is long overdue. If you have been with me from the beginning or just started watching my videos, this man's is from my very first episode of my Willow series, and he and Willow clearly couldn't get enough of each other. And this girl still has a crush on him. So I'm gonna give him a mega makeover today so I can see what she sees, while also creating 2 other Sims to further show you guys how I make Sims. And you guys will be able to download these Sims plus a bonus Sim that we will add on, but just won't show in this video today. Without further ado, let's get started. So when it comes down to townie makeovers, I usually like to keep the same traits and overall aspirations because it makes gameplay more fun to have like Sims with unique personalities and traits. However, Enrique is a special townie and we are doing a complete overhaul on him, so I just decided to change his aspiration to fabulously wealthy because he strikes me as a businessman who's literally got no game but somehow attracts the women. Moving on to the body, I really like to start on a blank canvas, and NPCs usually like to bedazzle themselves with accessories. So I have a fresh start mod by CDD, which clears everything off your sim, but somehow Enrique has magical powers to deflect what the mod does. Thanks, Enrique. Now, as I was saying, when I'm doing a townie makeover, I generally like to keep the physical appearances the same, except I do like to change their body shapes. With my male Sims, I like to give them more wider shoulders, whether they are muscular or not, because this is the perfectionist in me. But like when Sims naturally stay in the game, they have a poor posture like myself. And I think most males tend to have like the wider shoulders in general. So I just like to do that. And now on to skin details. I absolutely love Alpha CC. However, I did switch to Max's Match recently, but now I'm like low-key just going back and forth. It's a love and hate relationship. No, really like love and love relationship. But preferably, I do like to use Max's Match skins, non-default skins by Northern Siberia Winds for my Sims, because you can see all the skin details you apply on your Sims way more clearly, in my opinion, than on like an alpha skin. Or sometimes, you know, when you do use an alpha skin and you like, there's some skin details that you can see and then there's others that you can't, and you're like, bro, I just like to use Max's Match for the skin. And then I immediately always scroll down to the bottom and I work my way up. It's pretty funny. And I like to put a nose mask on my Sims, my townie Sims especially, because since I like to keep their same features, that means less use of presets, and I am a preset fiend. But it's fine, it doesn't matter. I don't even play with majority of townies, I make anyways. But because we are doing a mega makeover on Enrique, I used head, jaw, and cheek presets on him because when it comes to my male Sims, I really like to focus on those structures a bit more than my female Sims, making sure to especially define the jaw. This part actually takes a lot of time for me because I genuinely get so fixated on it that I start to think I'm making an atrocious looking Sim. And it was also at this point I started thinking, oh my gosh, I'm over here trying to show people how to make Sims, but I'm literally about to scrap this whole project. But then I started getting hope and messing around more with his features because I have a picture of how I want him to look in my head. and I'm trying to combine that with the features he already has. So another tip when it comes to making male Sims is to make sure their eyes are slightly smaller and pulling the top eyelids slightly down and the pupil itself smaller. It really makes a huge difference, but when it comes to pulling the top eyelid down, it honestly does depend on like their personality or the look that I'm going for. Like, for example, bigger eyes like bunny eyes create a more innocent looking sim, while foxy eyes create a more mysterious and I guess baddie-esque sim. And for Enrique, we were going just for that because to Willow, Enrique is a hot baddie. But when it comes to the eyes itself, I always like to use a realistic looking eye rather than a Maxis Match one because I don't know, that combination just looks so good to me. It really does. It looks so good. But when it comes to male skin details, I do like to use a face contour by GoPausMe to define the presets I have on them, and then I just go ham on Pixis and Okari skin details. You know, like the little details where it says eye details and all that jazz. No, I literally use every single one of those details every time. It just also helps because I do have cast organizers, but it helps to be able to just to have as much space in the skin detail section for other things like moles and freckles and all that, then and have another space for where I do like brow details or cupid bow details, nose whatever details. You know, that's just how I like to do it. I don't know why, but it works for me and it probably would work for you. Like I said, I do like to give all my Sims lip bows or cupid's bow and definition on their nose mask depending on their features. For Enrique, I just was like, he looked better without extra details on his nose, so I kind of left that part alone. And then for the hair, I do always add hairlines to my Sims, like baby hairs, hairlines, all the 9 yards. I do like to add them whether they're alpha or Maxis hairs. But for some reason, I don't know why, but I thought his eyebrows were blonde. So I went for blonde hair because the purple hair was not giving. Like I tried, you'll see, I tried, but I couldn't. And turned out his eyebrows were gray. Clearly, I can't see. But I'm not gonna let y'all suffer and see my obsession with Johnny Sims hair. So in the meantime, I'm gonna give some tips / a recap on things that I do that are helpful for creating male Sims or townie makeovers in general. Now, Enrique originally had a little mustache, so we're gonna give it right back to him. And then he was also wearing a red jacket and black pants / shoes, but we're going for a more businessman's look. I'll let y'all determine what kind of businessman he is, by the way, who's got no game. So I just chose this red shirt and black pants with black shoes. And then I also had to add a random behind tattoo. I like to think that he got this wacky tattoo in college while being a little too sip. And then I always add nose and body shadows on my Sims when I finish everything. And here is the new and improved Enrique, y'all. Now, moving on, I think a lot of you guys will be excited for this one / this method because it is where I play around with genetics on 2 of what I believe are my best looking Sims. We have Willow and Emery, and all I do is combine their genetics, and now we have a good sim foundation to begin creating. And this is typically what I like to do, like if I'm too lazy to create a sim from scratch, or I just am like, oh my gosh, I really love the last 2 sims that I've created, whatever. So this is what I'll typically do. Now, there isn't a huge detail between the skin details that I use on my female Sims and male Sims, but just more so how I use it on my female Sims makes a difference. For example, majority of the time I don't use skin details that define certain parts of the face. For example, the contour line, which I'll just use makeup instead to define it. But sometimes I will. It really just depends on how masculine or feminine I want my sim to look. So rather than giving you guys the same information, I thought I'd tell you guys the process behind how Willow was born and then later on this sim. So I have always loved mystery books and films, etc., with a hint of thriller. Like, I swear, I came out of the room reading those A to Z books, if you know, you know. And then You on Netflix came out, and that show shook me to my core. Like, literally fed into all my favorite genres at once, especially the 4th season when they were in London. Like, if you haven't seen that show, you need to watch that show. I really wanted to emulate those vibes and sense of mystery, and this is where the Sims game comes into play. Winterberg is the only world that literally got a man whose wife supposedly disappeared, but really not. Like, y'all, I think he KO'd her, like, no joke. Now, I don't know the theory behind it all, but then Windenburg just always gave this uppity old money aesthetic. So I would always renovate the town in that way and have the most mysterious Sims, like vampires, live there, or like just old money Sims live there with a dark secret. At this point, just call it Old Money Extreme Violenceville. Willow was then created along with all of the other characters, each resembling the characters' personalities or traits from You season 4. But on a serious note, behind all of my Let's Plays or machinimas that I plan to do in the future, I want them to have an overall theme. I've noticed for 3 Let's Plays that I've planned, including Willow, I have this overarching theme of the word home. Specifically, what does home look like to each person? For Willow, I would say metaphorically and physically, her home isn't constant. She is always running away from the comfort a home provides, whereas Emery Altman, a character you guys will see more about soon, is searching for the consistency and comfort of a home, or more so that a home has, but she doesn't really know it yet until a series of events happen. Lastly, after Willow and this new Let's Play kind of end, I have another Let's Play that embodies the opposite of both of their stories, where home is where the heart is. Home means a lot to this sim that she's even willing to live and put up with someone, or more like something else, for it. Sorry, I got a bit deep there, but I just really love my Sims and their stories. I really do. So now I'm gonna talk about the Willow and Emery baby. So for this sim, I really wanted to embody both Willow and Emery styles and a bit of personality. You won't really see it in the traits more so. Or, okay, I ended up picking paranoid and like dance machine. Emery is a free spirit and Willow is in this whole situation right now, and I do believe as an adult Willow's gonna be definitely paranoid, so that'll be a trait added on later on. But yes, a little bit she's embodying their personalities. But onto her clothes, I went for an alternative streetwear look for her because Emery's style is streetwear and Willow is more like, she does have a bit of streetwear, but it's also posh. When it comes to my Sims clothing, I do like to use Pinterest for inspiration. Specifically, this is literally what my Pinterest home and fall outfit bins look like. And yes, you're gonna see some good looking food because I love food and love to make it. But here is Stephanie Downing, a wannabe fashion stylist, but she is a party animal at heart. So the last method focuses on Pinterest once again, because another way that I like to create Sims is by using reference photos. I like using reference photos to practice on Sims who have different features or backgrounds than me. And for this sim, all I did to find this guy on Pinterest was I searched up men. And then from a photo within a photo, found this guy on Pinterest and absolutely loved his aesthetic and vibes. He gave me model, simfluencer, and C drama star, so that's the vibe that I went with. And I really wish I knew his name so I could put it down, but I could not find it anywhere, guys. Like, it was just like third-party profiles. It wasn't actually him, and none of them had his name, or maybe I just could not read Mandarin. I will admit Using reference photos can be a little difficult, or at least it was for me, because I tend to overthink it. But I always remember this tip from my art teacher in school, and it is to draw it like you see it. If something looks odd or unusual, but that's exactly how it looks in front of you, just leave it be. This is just me adding on to what my art teacher said. When you're ready to do minor details / edits on your sim, go back to it after a break, and sometimes you'll find that you don't need to fix anything at all. Sometimes I feel like we'll stare at something too long and we'll start to overthink whether or not it is accurate and spend a lot of time harboring over details when you are just at the draft. So just keep moving on, and if you find yourself fixated on a certain part, start working on another part or take a break and then come back to it. I tend to do that actually with a lot of sims that I create if I'm having difficulty on them, and it really does help. And honestly, the more you practice using references, the better you just get at it. Like, I remember 3 years ago or 2 years ago, even 1 year ago, even literally like 5 months ago, even 2 months ago, let's be that extreme, I could not use reference photos. Like I just kept trying, and sometimes other individuals are harder than others. And yeah, you just have to keep practicing. So back to this sim, I was having difficulty at first because usually when I create from an image, I like to randomize sims until I have a base that looks faintly similar. But I guess in this video, I literally woke up and chose violence, but it turned out okay because I really liked how he ended up coming out in the end. I also want to mention in this time that there are 2 ways I usually use a reference. Either I will try to create an exact replica, or I will use it as an inspiration for a base and then do my own style. I think when you use a reference photo as inspiration, it honestly is a lot easier than creating the person themselves because you have more freedom with it. But if you like the challenge, definitely go for the exacto. Overall, the key thing with using reference photos is to not be too hard on yourself / overthink it, and keep practicing, because do I think he turned out exactly looking like the guy in the photos? No, of course not. But I was happy with how he turned out because I tried my best and I just went with the flow. Now, while I'm finishing this sim up, I do want to mention once more that I will have the cast mods in these sims linked in my description box below. I genuinely appreciate you guys and definitely want to produce more videos than what I do now. I recently got a PC, if you haven't seen my community posts, after playing on a Mac since like Sims 2 or 3. Oh my gosh, just saying those games make me literally want to play them again. Like, the nostalgia is crazy for real. Anyways, I definitely want to upload more videos, but I am also just enjoying being present and in the moment with life, family, husband, and my 2 pups. But nonetheless, I just have so many ideas that I have had written out since before my Willow series that I do want to show y'all. And now that I have a PC, I am aiming for a video a week. Speaking of that, my new Let's Play has literally been more than halfway completed for like a month now. And it only took longer than expected because I decided to finish it on my new PC instead of my Mac. But we had to literally fix and adjust so many settings, transfer files over on this PC in order to make everything work. So that's what's taking so long, but I promise. With all that being said, the first episode will be out by next Friday. All right, we have made it to the end of this video and we have our last sim done. I really loved how all of them turned out, and I hope whenever we see Enrique again in Willow series, we will finally see what she sees in that man's. I hope you got some valuable tips from this video and hope you enjoyed these sims. With that being said, have a great day or night, and I'll see you very soon.